Hi, I'm Mary Jo here with another eBite from Attorney Computer Systems. Today's eBite is in Accounts Payable, and we're going to talk about vendors. Sometimes you have to write a check to a vendor that you may never use again. For example, a client that you need to refund money to. You don't necessarily want to set up a vendor for that client because you might never use them again, and we don't want to clutter up that vendor list. So what we can do is use something called a miscellaneous vendor, and I'm going to show you how you can set that up and how you can use it for all those little odds and end vendors that you need to pay. So let me show you how. So I'm in my sample data, and I'm going to go to the vendor. And I'm going to set up a new vendor. I'm just going to make it 800, and I'm going to name it miscellaneous vendor. I'm not going to put an address in because when I use a miscellaneous vendor, it'll prompt me for who I want to write that check to. The key is to make sure that we check this box down here for miscellaneous vendor. Once that is checked, I'll be able to use this vendor for whatever I want to use it for, whether it's a client or just anybody that I want to write a one check off here for. Now, you can use miscellaneous vendors in a lot of different ways. I could set up several miscellaneous vendors for different purposes. For example, I might have a miscellaneous vendor dash client refunds, and every time I want to do a client refund, I would use that particular miscellaneous vendor. I might have one for travel expenses. Maybe I have a few people that I write checks to for travel expenses just once in a while, and I just want to use a miscellaneous vendor. Well, I could create one that's called miscellaneous vendor dash travel. Whatever you want to do, you can use this in any way that works for your firm. So now that I've created this and I've saved it, I'm going to go out into an invoice and I'm going to use this one. So it's already in here populated because that's the last one I did. And when I hit my tab key and I tab through the reference box, it instantly opens up an address details window that I can now type in who I want to make this check out to. So I'm just going to make one out for John Smith. Let's say that this is a client refund. I can put in his address at this time right here. And we'll just say that he lives in Toledo, Ohio. And I'll say okay. It'll instantly replace miscellaneous vendor with that name and address that I've typed in there. I can then go on with my invoice, just like I would for anything else, and I'll just say that this is a refund. Go to my general ledger screen. I'm just going to choose an expense account here just for test purposes, and we'll make that $100. Save it. We're going to save that. It's not a client expense. And now down below, I have a vendor or a check waiting to be printed for a refund for this client. And it will then, when I print the check, instead of miscellaneous vendor, go to John Smith. Anytime I need to use a miscellaneous vendor, I can just pull up this 800. As soon as I tab, I can put in a new name and a new address, and it will keep track of all of that information. I hope this eBite's been helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to visit our website or give us a call. Thanks.